Right. Well, here's TM2. Their thoughts on the whole matter. Before they start the footage, they write, I was not able to stop or rewind, so these are very off-the-cuff comments. The footage was a bit overwhelming. The house is so huge and cluttered that it is very disorienting to watch. Also, the officer we follow must be in charge, and he is all over the place. He sticks in one room for a few minutes, then shuffles between them, so the footage is all over the place. However, we hardly see the children at all, and all the officers act very kind and patient with the family.
Okay.
So, the footage was taken May 23rd, 2024, and it starts at
9:11 a.m.
9:11 a.m. National tragedy. National tragedy. It starts in the police car as the officers approach the house. There is a dirty cat house, tower, and filled trash bags on the patio. That checks out. I can confirm that. That was a regular sight. Officers see kids inside the house through the window. It takes about 6 knocks from the police on the door yelling search warrant before someone responds. And the person responding is not an adult. This is why, like, anybody who wants to simp for April, go fuck yourself. After reading these notes, I went, just a fucking piece of shit. Just had become a complete junkie, low-life, selfish asshole. Because if you're a parent who's worth a shit, you do not let your kids go to that door when someone's banging on it because, like, if you're April, you're more concerned about filling up your cocaine bullet than you are going to that door. You're more worried about wondering how you're going to get rid of the drugs and hide your fucking degeneracy, you pig, instead of saving that kid from trauma. So that kid's now been traumatized because the cops had to knock down the door to get in.
Mm-hmm.
Because April, the nanny, is too concerned about her fucking drugs to go see what's going on. So the kid's got to go through this, and now it's the cop's job to calm and take care of the child. So that annoyed me right off the bat. One of the children can be heard saying that daddy told her not to answer the door. Now, that's normally a good thing for parents to teach. But right. When your daddy taught you that because he's a fucking drug addict who doesn't want people finding his degeneracy, I mean, shit. As soon as the door is open, it is a literal labyrinth of clothes and stuff. Now, here's what's interesting. Nick did not show pictures of the entryway, and he did not show pictures of the entryway to the hallway where the mountains of clothes are that you can't walk through the hallway. He did not show that on his stream last night. So, very interesting. That part of the body cam not shown.
How do you have that many clothes? Just Jesus.
They don't do any laundry. You know, it's funny.
Not even doing laundry.
It's funny. One time, Dan showed up, and Dan and I were talking. He saw all the clothes. And he goes, all right, what's going on here? And I'm like, yeah, it's fucking a lot of clothes. Should be doing laundry, blah, blah. He goes, there's a laundromat 10 minutes down the road. You could just go do all the laundry there, have it done in a day. I'm like, yep, sure could. I mean, that was just that was a solid dude right there. So as soon as the door is open, it is a literal labyrinth of clothes and stuff. Hard to decipher where one room begins and another ends because every counter and table surface is covered in bottles, clothes, packages of food, and indicators of kids and their toys live there. There is not a lot of space to walk around the piles of stuff either. So, I mean, just a complete fucking pigsty. And again,
right.
This is someone watching it with their eyeballs. This isn't someone with an agenda or anything. This is just a person, a woman watching it with her eyeballs. Now, I am only, there are certain people I'm not going to reference in this. Mm-hmm. April is found in the main bedroom. The 6-year-old, stated by the officer, keeps saying something about her dad kept telling her not to let them in as the police begin to walk around the kitchen. The main room, kitchen, and dining room seem to be one big space, but again, it's hard to tell with furniture cues, since everything is so cluttered and covered. So they can't tell where one room ends and another one begins.
because it's like a tornado had gone through the whole fucking house,
Right.
and now it's disaster zone city.
Well, and it shouldn't be surprising. This is why I don't understand all the sweeping and the jannying. It's like,
Well, they got to clean the floor.
is it that hard to believe that a bunch of drug addicts didn't keep a clean home?
Here's the part that's surprising to me, though. This sounds like excuse me for saying this, but in Minnesota you would say like trailer trash, like white people, like that kind of a thing. But then this is also a place where, again, it's an expensive residence and everything else. Nobody could take the time out of everybody that was there. You like not everybody was going to work every day or anything like that. You guys, I always thought, and excuse me if I'm wrong, but I thought like cocaine would make you like, ooh, I've got to do something. So I guess
I always
I'll
thought
throw
that
the
was
laundry.
meth.
I guess I don't know. Again, outside of marijuana, I have not really done drugs. I am sad to say. So
Oh, you fucking loser. You fucking
Right?
prude.
at this
You
point,
prude.
because all I've ever done is smoke weed, I'm a square.
There is some kind of room they walk by. Kids room, question mark. It has a rainbow IKEA shelf in it, and it is completely flooded with junk and clothing. The room is an actual hoarder-looking room. Now, this is another picture that Nick didn't show. I can attest to this room. It's called the school room. It's supposed to be where the kids have their homeschooling and their activities. You can't enter it.
Why not?
It has boxes of toys and Legos and tote bins and school supplies, and it's just from the back of the wall up to damn near the front door. There's an Apple computer that you can barely sit at. I mean, you can't have more than one person in there, and you can't walk around in it. You can get to that little computer, and that's about it. Nick didn't show the picture of that room. It's very interesting. So he didn't show the entryway. He didn't show the hallway full of clothes, the mountain of clothes. He didn't show the hoarder room. I guess he thought that might make him look bad, Jannies. There are a few moments where the officer seems to be covering the camera with his hand. Hard to tell if it is on purpose or on accident. I would guess he was probably holding on to his
vest.
Yeah, his vest or something like that.
It wasn't intentional.
Literally just shit everywhere as they move about the house. Just so many random piles of clothes. That's the hallway where you cannot walk on ground. You have to walk over clothing. I mean, and you know, I'm a parent, so you just notice these things. A kid could roll an ankle on that.
Right?
A kid could hurt themselves on piles of clothes because that's not solid ground to walk on. And you're trying to walk to you know, like Nick's bedroom to get his attention for something. You go running through. You could trip. You could fall. You could hurt yourself. You could, like I said, roll an ankle.
And like, excuse me for making assumptions here. I keep hearing lots of bottles. Can I assume some of them are glass? Heaven forbid one of those is under there or broken or something. Now you got a like severe like wound to possible laceration going on. Like again, just
Nick,
no. This is one thing I'm going to say. This like. Nobody over like the age of 12 was like, we could maybe pick some of this stuff up.
It's a good point too, but where do you learn how to do that when you're young?
Right, but like, well, like, cause like, I grew up in a trailer home. Spoiler alert! And so, like, nobody taught me that I had to clean up and set up the Christmas tree. I like when I reached like 13, 14, everybody was busy. I was the only one there. I just did that. Like, you didn't have to ask.
Fair enough. There's another picture that Nick refused to show, and this wasn't a privacy thing. It was into the kitchen. You know, that kitchen island that was crazy messy. To go from that island back to the sink, and the reason is you would see 2 deep well sinks full of plates and whiskey bottles, and then dishes overflowing to the side of the sink as well. It was a fucking pig. And that's where his lazy Susan was with all his whiskey bottles just right out in the kitchen. Little lazy Susan with a bunch of whiskey on it. Those bottles didn't last very long. I'll tell you that much. But he didn't show that picture either. So a lot of the worst parts of the house he didn't show pictures of. Interesting. There is a stairway that has some kind of chair or love seat. It's the size of half a couch, just turned over upside down at the bottom of the stairs. That clearly was done before the cops showed up. Now, to show I'm being fair, but also not being accused of being a desperate Janny, I believe that was a child's toy. There's child's toys that kind of look like furniture. And I think that might have been. I don't think it was an actual love seat that was overturned at the bottom of the stairs. That clearly was done before the cops showed up. Not sure what it is all about. They have a big, fat, fluffy orange cat, though, and it's cute. I love those kind of notes throughout this thing also. We do have to get to a couple of these while we have them so we can stay caught up. Tridio with $5 says, hey, bud, had to charge back your boyfriend this weekend. Have what he wouldn't take, which we know isn't much. J-Rock with $2 says, you came out the most polished turd, Aaron. I think that is an incredibly fair statement to say the most polished turd. I think that's about as accurate as you can get. Thank you, guys. So far, I mean, we're getting a picture painted of a house that I would say personally, I don't have as much vested interest in Nick at obfuscating and lying. This is a pretty fair, accurate portrayal of what it was like. So thank you guys for those contributions. So back to TM2. 10 minutes in, and we still have not seen Nick on camera. Now, we know why that is. Nick had been pulled over, and then he threw his cocaine in the car with his kids in there because he thought that was so mega cool to do. That's a fucking loser bum thing to do. The garage is very cluttered. Looks like they just moved in with all the boxes. Now, they do have a lot of boxes and shit in that garage, but it's not the dirtiest garage. You can't fit more cars in there. Like, it's a three separate stalls, and you can't fit more than maybe one car. I mean, they carved out just enough room to put his Mustang in there in the winter, but it's not like you can navigate it, you can walk through it, but it is pretty high up, taller than me in boxes. And then you add April's shit that they had in there, you're going to have a lot of boxes. So I think if you ever see this body cam footage, I think you'll see how messy the entryway to hallway to bedroom is, that by the time you get to the garage, you'll be a little desensitized and you'll go, this one's not
out of everything. This is actually relatively decent.
Yeah, not as bad.
It's at least quasi-organized.
Yeah. The garage is very cluttered. Given it is the garage, though, it honestly looks like the most normal room in the house. Yeah, there we go. Lots of filled, packed luggage bags, too. The officer goes back upstairs, and we get a quick glimpse of one of the counters, and we can see food wrappers, bottles, a box of goldfish opened. At 9:23, so 12 minutes in, we finally are outside, and we see Nick meekly showing up in the driveway looking pissed, pouting, like he's about to cry and arms folded. He has short cargo shorts on and that shitty Jamaican-colored tank. So he was driving his kids around to school and shit in his Twiggy tank. The cop goes back in and starts getting supplies and gloves to start drug testing stuff in the main bedroom. A lot of this part in the video is just the cops gathering supplies and talking about their attack plan on the house because it is so large and has so much stuff. So it's so messy that the cops are like, where the fuck?
How are we going to handle this?
We are in the bedroom to test. There is a lamp on the nightstand that has a random tube balancing on top of it. A very, very cluttered space with lots of shit. It is important to note that the bedroom had walk alleys surrounded by clothes and shit. So you had walk alleys where you could get to the bed and the bathrooms, basically carved out walking paths, essentially. It is important to note that the bedroom is right there in the main hallway of the house. You would easily walk by it every day if you lived there. I say that because of all the shit they had in their room, it would be very accessible to kids. Yeah, they had cocaine right there on the cuck fridge. And that was like right as soon as you walk in. They had cocaine. They had a prescription that was either one of the kids or Nick's mom's prescription, so they were mixing all that shit up. Cocaine bullets. I mean, easily accessible to children. And Nick was coping about that last night. He said, you can't see the cuck fridge from the outside. He's not totally wrong. Basically what it is, you walk and there's a little piece of wall there and you just have to peek like that. So you walk straight in and you go, like, you know how kids can kind of sneak up on you a little bit? Like very easily, a kid could tiptoe across all the clothes. Those don't make a lot of noise. Could tiptoe across all the clothes, get in the room, and then just peek their head around that little corner and go, "Hey, what you guys doing?" Nothing. So could you see the cuck fridge from the hallway? Not that I can remember, but it wouldn't take much to see it. It's just a little peekaboo. That's all. You could stand on 2 feet, lean, and look around. The cops keep saying that April was found in the bedroom, incredible amounts of bottles and makeup products and clothes, booze bottles and water cups on windowsills. Well, at least they're hydrating from all their drinking and drugging.
Yeah, it's one healthy thing you're doing.
The cops
stay hydrated, otherwise you're just going to pass out.
The cops decide to go downstairs for a second, give a quick scan of the stream room. We get a closer, quick glimpse of the kitchen table, just covered in stuff and loose documents. Yeah, that's very accurate. I cleaned that table multiple. It wasn't very difficult. Like, I'd get the kids together and I just break stuff into piles. I go, whose is this? Whose is this? Whose is this? And then you have each kid take that stuff to their room. And then I scrub the table and you clean it off. It's easier to keep shit clean than it is to make it clean. So if I figured,
absolutely.
I figured if I could get the fucking thing clean, because it was you couldn't see. I mean, it was just shit everywhere. And I cleaned it off once because I'm like, these kids should have a place to eat a fucking meal. Like, I don't know. Growing up, that was a big thing in our family. We ate our meals together, right? So I'm like, these kids should have a place to sit and eat a meal. And
food secure people.
Sorry.
No, it's all good.
But yeah, this and I figured if I clean it, if I clean it once, it's easier to keep it clean than make it clean.
Right, but you were asking earlier when you're like, oh, but where are you going to learn those habits? Didn't they have a housekeeper at one point that was doing this?
Cheney, the nanny, was driving, shopping, that kind of thing. Nick did the cope where he goes, you can't get a cleaning service out here. You absolutely can.
Yeah, you can.
I lived in the next county over for 7 years. There were plenty of places you could have gone for cleaning services. He could just be honest and be like, no, I had a fuckload of drugs in my home. I don't want someone cleaning my house and finding coke bullets.
Right. Even if you tell them one room's off limits.
Right. You're going to see in this that there were drugs, many different places. We enter the stream room, and oddly, the ceiling doesn't seem finished. I think I've mentioned that before. It just has these latex brand sheets covering it. We head back upstairs to the bedroom. We can see shoes, garbage, and lots of clutter at the top of the stairs. Accurate. They seem pretty dangerous with all the junk around the stairs. Yeah, you got little kids running around. You got junk everywhere. You could trip over something, fall down the stairs, all kinds of shit. At 9:31, we see him swab around the pillow, and it tests positive for cocaine. The fucking pillow was laced in coke. You had a coke pillow, for fuck's sake. And I'm guessing somebody...
Every time I take a nap, I'm just so energized.
I can't remember if it was Kino Casino or Meme Copium stream where they said, I wonder if Nick's nose wasn't running when he was sleeping, and that snot gets on the pillow, and or just you're doing so much coke, you got the cuck fridge right next to you. It's just getting on the pillow because you're a bum. Ugh. You're just a fucking bum. Then we see the officer pick up a black vial, looks like a lipstick tube, and when he unscrews it, we see white powder. Yeah, that's one of the coke bullets. That's the same thing I did when Nick left his next to my kid and didn't tell anybody. I picked it up and I went, no. And I unscrewed the thing, and sure enough, there it is. There it is. He unscrews it, and we see white powder. The officer responds with a, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, a little bit of cocaine in the bullet. Yeah, a little pep in your step. Yeah, a little motion in your ocean. Oh, yeah. Officer Savage found it, and he goes, oh, yeah. This right here is the pure white powder. Yeah, cream of the crop. Yeah, rising to the top of the bullet. Yeah. Found a little coke. Oh, yeah. He takes a picture of it, as you do. The officer says there is a measurable amount of cocaine in the bedroom. Now, this isn't even the safe with all the blow in it. This is just the bedroom. You remember Nick said, oh, April didn't know the code to the safe. But yet that morning, April had went and filled up her bullet with coke. First of all, April was chopping up and bagging so much coke, she knew the code to the safe. She knew it. The officer says there's a measurable amount of cocaine in the bedroom. At 9:33, in that master bedroom, a measurable amount of cocaine. They also find a large stack of cash, according to them. Now, you're going to hear about cash being found throughout the place, stacks of cash. You're also going to hear about baggies of coke. There's rumors of trafficking. I didn't invent the rumors of trafficking. They actually, before these notes were released, I was hearing rumors of trafficking. I would believe it. I would believe in the drug trafficking rumor. I would buy that rumor. I think, according to this body cam stuff, I think Nick should be very thankful to the county. He should kiss the government's ass because they went really light on him.
Yeah,
really, really light on him. I mean, he should have. I mean, in a more civilized time, he would have hanged for this. You know, I mean, this is way worse than stealing a horse. You know, an officer then states that Nick is asking about probable cause. Retard, they have a search warrant. They gave you the search warrant already. You don't need probable cause if you have a search warrant. Probable cause was already established when they got the search warrant. And it was your entire fucking community and in-laws seeing openly all the degeneracy that was going on. And you showing up on stream with fucking coke all over your face.
Yeah, that didn't help. I'm going to be honest.
The main officer we are following calls CPS to the house. A senior officer who has been talking to Nick says that Nick feels he's been hurt. Oh. Not are my kids okay? Not anything like that. I feel like me. My probable cause, me injured, me hurt. You see what he values here in these moments. When they're under duress, people tell you who they are. During this, we catch a glimpse at the main kitchen counter, and it is completely covered in booze bottles, even over by the sink. See, this is, like I said, another photo he didn't show. This was, again, it sounds like this house got a lot worse after I left, but this is the kind of the foundation of what I remember, how nasty it was.
I can't think the booze bottles. That mean, and again, it's not like these are beer bottles, I'm guessing, from what I understand.
Oh, no, just
These
whiskey
are, like,
bottles.
So that just piles of whiskey bottles. That, good God, I couldn't imagine that.
Oh, they found
start
them.
Getting a couple bottles, empty bottles piling around. That's kind of like a message like, hey, maybe we don't do this anymore. For a little bit, take a break, slow down.
Blew right by those warning signs.
Oh, dear Lord.
It's a bit dark and confusing in the main part of the house, and without pausing and rewinding, I have a hard time making specific objects out. At 9:39, we head outside to deal with April and Nick, and finally cuff and arrest them. Now, this is very interesting. Nick says that April was about to drive the kids to activities. April is in a really slutty top. I do not try to call out fellow women for how they dress, but it really is inappropriate to wear around kids and a married couple, regardless of any other factor. And it's a black crop top that has a collar, and it's cut in a way that shows her cleavage heavily, and her stomach is out. She has a huge piece of rock jewelry in her belly button as well. So basically, you're dressed like a hoe, and you're going to drive kids to school. And Nick also said, oh, yeah, she didn't sleep. She was up doing drugs all night. So she's up doing drugs.
Good.
She's up doing drugs all night and drinking, and she's dressed like a hoe, and you're going to have her drive kids around. Hey, Johnny, I wonder how the community thought that they were a bunch of fuck-ups.
Dude, it's just the fact that again, that picture I said where he was like, oh, that really compliments my arms. The fact that that's so shockingly accurate in terms of what they were wearing at the moment. It's just like, you guys got to realize you're in a nice neighborhood, and in a trailer park, that would be like, yeah, those are the ones doing drugs.
Tridio with $5 says, water, cups on windowsills, and cocaine in baggies, whiskey in all rooms, and April looking slaggy. These are a few of Nick's favorite things. Thank you, Tridio. She sounds, talking about April, she looks and sounds so dry. Honestly, it does not even look like or sound like her. She actually looks like a tranny.
It's not. That's not.
I think I filed for divorce before the bottom got hit. I think I got out of there before it was, the resale value went. Just very dry and unhealthy. For sure, out of it and on something. Now, again,
like human jerky.
Before and this is something I would disagree with Keanu on. This person does not deserve simping. This person stuck around after this and continued to be on whippets and continued to be inappropriate and continued to be harmful to 5 children. She doesn't deserve an ounce of sympathy. And then she ran out at the last minute to save her own ass. She got her charges dropped and she went, see you around. Peace out. Not, I've learned a lot. Not, I'm better. It was just, gotta skedaddle. She actually looks like a tranny, very dry and unhealthy. Honestly, she might just be hungover, but her throat sounds like it's drowning in sand. I cannot express how gross she seems and out of it.
Well, that's just that. Honestly, that sounds like someone who's strung out and hasn't slept in a good 24 hours.
Remember when Nick put all this body cam footage out into evidence because he said April wasn't Mirandized?
Yeah.
9:42. She has read her Miranda rights and refuses to speak without a lawyer. We see her cooperate easily with the officers, and she gets handcuffed and out in the car with ease. We see the other officer cuff Nick, and he is not fighting either. April asked for some shoes because she's barefoot. They keep asking her what room she has been hanging out in. She mentions the main room and kind of avoids the question. It seems obvious that she knew that her being in the bedroom with all the cocaine would get her in big trouble. Nick does still look very pissed and arms still crossed before he is cuffed. The officer is very kind and heads back in to get April's shoes, which are just haphazardly placed at the top of the stairs. As the officer heads back in the house, the fat orange cat gets out, and the kids, who have been outside on the patio the whole time, say it can go outside. We can hear a kind officer asks the kids about their pets to calm them down. They seem to be actually okay with no crying and in decent spirits. That's the kind of one of the saddest parts to me.
Is that the situation wasn't a thing for them?
It wasn't that traumatic, like outwardly.
And somebody showing up to this is like, hey, maybe order will be restored. There's possible, I don't know.
That's really sad.
That's not good. That's not good.
9:46, we are back in the main bedroom to keep testing stuff. The officer we are following seems to be the head honcho, so that would be Pomplin. As he keeps moving in and out of every room and making the calls and shots throughout, so we are often just walking around saying stuff. As he enters back into the bedroom, another officer mentions that they have found quite a bit of edibles in the room. They don't state what kind, but it can be assumed weed. If you did not know, they have edibles for shrooms, Molly, and other mixtures that are actually easy and common to get. But also gummies just being accessible in the bedroom bothers me. Yeah, whether weed's legal or not, it should not be somewhere that is within reach.
It should not be accessible by children by any means.
No, it shouldn't. At 9:47, the officer finally tests the black vial, and it's an instant blue swab. Cocaine right there on the bedstand. You could see it from the hallway. It's cocaine. And now, okay, to me, that's confirmation that daughter got into the cocaine, the one that tested positive 10 times. Nick tried to repeat the officer touching her hair cope yesterday on his panic stream.
No,
that's not how it works.
It doesn't work that way.
It's metabolized. So,
right, they test the proteins of the hair, not the surface.
Right. So now we kind of know, we have an idea of how it happened. Of how the child got into the cocaine. I'm honestly, to find out it was just sitting there out on the cuck fridge, it surprises me. It was always kept in the bathroom, or they had the little bullets, but that was on their person. Like, it was never just out there like that. So again, I think old Stick in the Mud left, and they went, all right, fucking party time. Let's put the coke out on the cuck fridge. And then the kids get in there. I'm surprised more than one kid didn't test positive.
It's just still bad. Anyway.
It's angering. It's angering.
No.
Again, in a more civilized time, not only is this immediate prison time, but it's, if we were just and moral, this would be the gallows.
I don't know the situation, but I personally wouldn't. Someone should be checking up on that environment to make sure it's healthy for the kids if they're back in it.
Well, thank God for that pastor. And, Alicia Sweep, the county may not have done their job, but Alicia Sweep did hers. She didn't close that file for 6 months. The average CPS case is 45 to 60 days. So they were pretty thorough. And when I mean the county, I don't mean the police. It seems like the police did everything right. It seems like they really did a great job. The county attorney's office seems a little shady to me. I'll be honest. Let's see, cocaine swab on the bedstand. You could see it from the hallway. All right. Now again, I'm gonna split hairs here. You could see it from the hallway and then peek your head around. I mean, it was, but I don't want to split hairs too much. I just want to be thorough and honest. Yeah, you'd if you walked straight, you'd walk into like a little bit of the wall jutted out, and you could just lean and go like that. You could see it. So I understand what she's saying. He continues to shuffle through the stuff on the bedstand, but the angle makes it difficult to see exactly what he is testing and touching. Then an officer tells him they found the rifle under the bed. So again, kid can go under the bed and get the rifle. The rifle. So the rifle is feet or inches away from fucking cocaine.
Why?
Bravo. I mean, truly nice work. We go back into the bedroom. We see a rifle in its box on the bed. The box is literally just a cardboard box. And the gun is just sitting in it with styrofoam. Not locked up at all, and it's a huge rifle. At 9:50, we hear an officer say they found 2 spent casings in the bedroom. Now, I will say this. I do believe that those spent casings were from some other thing. I don't think anybody was firing guns in the fucking bedroom like Tommy Lee Jones in Cobb. And
I'm pretty sure that they would have found holes if they had found casings.
Right. Found snort tube on nightstand, test positive for cocaine, and it's the first piece of evidence bagged. There are some open drinks and tubes on the bedstand. The black vial is bagged up as evidence. 2 credit cards in the name of April are found. So April was using her own debit cards to do a little choppy. A little choppy with her own cards. Look at that. Oh. Those cards were good for something more than just taking my money out of the account. Both the snort tube and the black vial were found right on top of April's cards. At 9:54, we hear them say that someone named Celeste. Oh, so they said the name. They said Nick's mom's name. I thought they said they read it on the bottle. Someone named Celeste had their medication on the bedstand, literally right next to the cocaine vial, snort tube, and credit cards. So this makes it sound like Nick either was given mommy's medication or took mommy's medication and was cutting it up with the coke. And again, trafficking, I don't know. Personal use, definitely. Unreal. The officer moves down to search around the floor, around the bed and stand, and we see that the bedstand actually has the red fridge Nick has been bringing around the whole time, the cuck fridge. He opens it, and I can only make out some jars of jam on the door from the angle. So food was there for sure. Food and meds on top of an easily accessible nightstand next to cocaine. There is a white stuffed animal and a hairbrush at the foot of the fridge. So that means that fucking children were in there. Children's toys where the fucking cocaine is. Unfucking believable. I mean, again, Nick ought to get down on his knees and suck the county's dick, which is apparently what he's doing with this body cam stuff. Because they went super fucking light on him. Super light on him. This is intentional neglect. I mean, this is intentional neglect. The cocaine didn't accidentally spill out where your kids' toys were. The cocaine was on the fucking cuck fridge where the kids' toys were sitting next to.
The kid's toy didn't just magically appear there.
And I can say from experience, those kids came to that room often. It was not uncommon.
Well, if it's where the parents are hanging out, eventually the kids are going to learn to go there, if nothing else, because they need to communicate with their parents.
So, again,
humans are social creatures.
Again, Jannies, hate me all you want. I love it. I think it's great. You don't have to stick up for this piece of shit. And if you do, you're fucking judged. You're garbage too. You ought to, honestly, world would be a better place, you know.
If he's good for it, then it's on you too.
Yeah. Oh, he's good for it, Mike? If he's good for it, then it's on you too. You're vouching for this. If you're, at least I pulled up and got the fuck out. You're still vouching for this if you're sweeping it up for this shit. And by the way, let's end this conversation this is why the Meltonites are losing so badly to the toe. The reason you're losing is because you keep trying to make this equivalency. I will say it now unequivocally, although it's been true for a long time. I just didn't want to sound arrogant. Aaron, you think you're so much better than these people? I'm 5 million times better than these people. I'm a trillion times a better person than this. And if you don't think so, your moral compass is so fucked, I'm surprised you find your way to your shower in the morning. You Janny piece of shit. The rifle number is...
not to fillet your ego. That's not a high bar that you're crossing.
Right, no. And I want to point that out. I deserve the rope too for being around all this shit with children in the house and all that stuff. I deserve the rope too. But at least I'm saying I deserve the rope. And at least when I realized, holy shit, you deserve a fucking rope for this, I went, go home. Go home. This isn't your home.
It's time to stop now.
It's time to stop now, Mac. Let's go home. So yeah, do we all deserve the rope? 1,000%. My rope deserves to be a little looser around my neck. That's all.
Yours is more of a leash. It's a lead.
Yeah, I have a lead on. Which probably, friends and family would say, not a bad idea for a little while, like a trial period. One officer pulls out a metal funnel, object that is found with another glass vial with some kind of white powder in it. See, I think they were cooking up freebase. I think Sean put that out there. I'd agree with that. Because if you're an addict, you need to step it up more and more.
Right.
Again, the cops saved these people's lives. They'd be dead within 6 months. Be fucking dead. They've got prescription medications they're throwing in there. You got ketamine, cocaine, DMT, fucking Molly. You're freebasing. You're drinking all the time. Dead within 6 months. This was found in the shelf under the TV in the bedroom. They test the white powder, and there is a faint blue on the swab, and the officer indicates that this means it could be a mixture. He bags it for evidence. 10:03, they find some weed pipes and test them for other drugs. And it's literally a drug den. Everywhere we're looking, it's drugs.
Yeah.
That room was a drug den. An officer there should have been an Asian man with an opium pipe going, "You're here for a party." It was that bad. An officer's comments at 10:04 in frustration that there is just so much stuff in here. Again, these are people who bust places like this for a living, and they're going, it's fucking too much.
Can't do this, man.
The main officer tells them to be mindful of needles and now believes it could be a possibility. Yeah, they just make that shit up. They are continuing to dig through all the shit on the floor. There is a big luggage case that he opens up, and it is completely packed with clothes and objects. The suitcase was already under a huge pile of clothes. He pushes off of it. Again, there were just walkways in that room. Just shit pushed aside and walkways. They also find April's purse in the bedroom. At 10:06, the officer decides to split up the team. He's leaving the bedroom to the others as he wants to go down and test Nick's studio. One of the other officers calls it a little lair. We head downstairs to the studio at 10:08, and we also cross paths with CPS. I'm guessing Alicia Sweep. There is a very cluttered and full library room right before you enter the studio. There are 4 monitors with the Joker painting tucked behind them out of sight, LOL. And they are still on, and it looks like he ended some stream. Oh, maybe the Coke stream. Very full cluttered shelves that the officers dig through. They oddly keep finding random $5 bills throughout his junk. It looked like some of them might have been dollar origami. No, they've been rolled up for so long that they come out looking all shapely. but some of them were just stuffed into cups or pen holders. The officer tests a few things he finds, but nothing suspicious besides tons of bottles and trash seems to be in there. One officer does find some baggie of weird stuff. They guess maybe cloves or pepper. The main officer thinks it might be a whiskey starter.
Ugh.
How strange is it that that's like the most normal thing that they found?
Wow. Can't ticket him for that.
I mean,
in fact, it's almost interesting.
If they would have only found that, you would have just been like, oh, a douche lives here.
Right.
You know, that would have been it. Just, oh, some douchebag who likes to do goofy shit with whiskey lives here. Then an officer brings a big metal safe down at 10:12. Uh-oh. And they said they found it in the bathroom. This is the mother lode. We can see it. Now, think about it. They've already found a shitload of cocaine and other drugs before they find this safe. We can see a dirty Ziploc baggie poking out of it. Now, somebody said it's like the cartoon bag of money.
Yeah, that's what they were saying on, that was Meme Copium's thing.
Right.
That's the only thing I watched this weekend about it, and I was laughing my ass off with it. Yeah. It's like the cartoon bag of money. It's a suitcase with just a dollar bill sticking out of it. I wonder what's in there.
With money flying out of it, yeah. Power Windows with $1 says, Mama K said the Coke pics were legit and others were probably not. I feel the other pics Nick showed were probably CPS pics to get the kids back. Probably true since Nick told her to die. Yeah, that is probably what it is. He only showed metadata for one, and it was the super messy one. So that's an interesting little trick, to be sure. Also, we have to go to Michael with $5 says, what was up with mom's medicine being there, or Nick's mom's medicine being there? Did the toe get to lay some pipe in the old battle axe? No.
Ew, no.
No, sir, that was not the case. That was not the case. Oh, hey, Gray Duckling might want to know we're at 240 right now. Hey, Johnny.
Oh, dear Lord.
Johnny, you know what? We're at 240 right now, and I got to tell you, you know, that's what time it is when you know you've had too many beans.
Really?
Yeah. 240.
Why is 240 when you know you've had too many beans?
Because it's 240. 240.
Oh.
240.
Oh.
So now I've got one for 240 and 230.
Great.
Just having fun.
Great. Today can't get any more amazing, can it? No. Oh, boy.
Good old JR becoming a member for 34 months. Thank you very much, buddy. I appreciate that. No, guys, I don't think Nick was fucking his own mom. Oh, no. So the Copers are so bad. Oh, no, we've killed the Jannies so hard that we've just got, you ain't getting my money. Goes, no one beats a dead horse like Aaron Imholt. That's it? That's all? We've beaten you down this much? I shouldn't have done it so hard.
Right.
Now we can't even.
Too much right away. And
now we can't even have fun.
Their spirits are broken.
All right, we got the safe now. The officer says he will deal with the safe in a bit, and they go back upstairs. Yeah, they got more drugs to find. We can't break open the big thing of drugs because we got all the little drugs we still got to find. It's like a goddamn Russian doll situation in this place. At 10:16, hour and 5 minutes in, we are just rummaging through the black shelves and testing random bits, but nothing's really down there. At 10:17, the officer with the safe returns and asks for help with it. And we go up to a small red bathroom on the main floor. I have to assume this is the main bathroom everyone uses when they don't need to shower. And the safe was found in there. No, this safe was found in the bedroom bathroom. The officers say it was under the sink, but the sink is one of those pillar sinks, so there is no bottom. I wonder if it was tucked off to the side. No, different. They're wrong there. It's just a different bathroom. The safe is opened up, and the contents are spread across the top of the toilet bowl for testing and evidence collecting. We can see a scale, blue snort tubes, and very dirty Ziplocs with cards and powders in them. I am willing to believe the trafficking rumors. Because, first of all, it was 20 some odd grams, and they were probably running out. Like, they don't catch you when you just re-upped, you know? This was either in the middle or towards the end. One of the two. Especially since they were doing drugs, just from them doing drugs all that night. So the day before into... So this was middle to gone. The safe is opened up and the contents are spread across the top of the toilet bowl. At 10:19, he tests the cards and bag in one of the Ziplocs and it tests positive for cocaine. I bet you that shit turned blue in record time.
0 to 60 in 2 seconds.
Now we start bagging all of the objects in the bathroom safe and calling them out as evidence. Evidence 8, large corner cut. This is what they call the large bag with a huge amount of white substance in it. He will test it when they get back, he says. Evidence 9, Ziploc baggie containing multiple baggies. One baggie has powder and it has KKK written on it. How fucking cringe. Can I say this? Because of her shitty sense of humor and her teenage-like wanting to be edginess, that's an April thing. That's the KKK, guys. Oh, God. I kill myself. Evidence 10, Ziploc baggie containing multiple baggies with powder. Evidence 11, digital scale. Evidence 12, metal object, funnel. The officers are unsure, containing powder. 2 snort tubes, plastic straws, and 2 cutters. After packing up all the contents in the safe at 10:23, we head back downstairs to the studio to continue testing. He goes through some drawers, and they are just packed with objects and loose documents. At 10:25, they continue to search through the library that is outside the studio room. And we then go back up the bathroom to double check for any evidence. We get a sight of a skeleton model that is just hanging out in the open space of the living room. Actually, Nick had just gone in to get some water. We also see a dining room table question mark because it was so full of shit by the windows, just completely covered in junk and food packages. So not the picture Nick showed yesterday, which I think those pictures that he didn't show the metadata for were most likely from the CPS visit so that they could get the children back.
Okay.
At 10:26, we head into a bathroom with a hot tub. Oddly, even though there is a bathroom with a hot tub. Oh, okay, that's the main bathroom. The bedroom bathroom, I mean. Oddly, even though there is a ton of stuff in here as well, the floor is pretty clear of junk. And it is the cleanest of the rooms. The only thing is you got the dog living in there and there was shit on the floor. And then one of the sweepers went, there was a puppy pad down. I don't give a shit. That's shit on the floor.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to sit there. Right. It's not supposed to sit there. So many lotions and makeup products are all over the counters. And of course, more booze bottles empty and half full on the counter and windowsills. Now, you didn't see that in Nick's photos, so obviously those aren't from the arrest. Mm-hmm. There are many windows in the entire house that just have booze bottles on them. At 10:30, we are still digging through the hot tub room. They head into some kind of laundry room, and it barely has any visible floor. That checks out. Just piles of clothes and filled laundry baskets. There is a hallway window, and there are 2 bottles of booze. And right next to them on the same window are little teddy bear figures.
Like kids' teddy bear figures or like collectible teddy bear?
Kids' teddy bear figures. Because they said sad right after that. I cannot tell what kind of room we are in at 10:38, but it seems to be a closet room. That's part of the bedroom. You go off around the corner in the bedroom, and it's a giant closet. Just shelves with more clothes. There is a huge rack of so many adult clothes right in the middle. He digs through a random trinket box and finds another bullet inside. So we're just hiding bullets now in the closet. And then a Louder with Crowder mug is spotted at 3340. Nick's a mug club guy. That would explain his sense of humor. You follow unfunny people. You just be unfunny.
Yeah, but Crowder's at least better than that.
You know what? Crowder didn't deserve that.
Right?
Crowder did not deserve that.
You ass.
At 10:36, we find another safe, and the officers are looking for the code. Then we head back into the garage, and right before it crashes on me, an officer says that they found 2 handguns just hanging out in the garage. And then it ended at 10:37:27 for this person. So we'll read one set of notes. Otherwise, we will be here all day. Right. That's the first set of notes. Now, this is the only photo that Nick showed with metadata. And this is, that's what it looks like.
That's not okay in any.
No, that looks like a disaster.
Right.
That's a fucking disaster area. And if you turned around, you'd see a double sink that's just full of whiskey bottles. If you go to the left here, that's the entryway. There would be clothes and boxes and shit. If you go down this hallway, there's a mountain of clothes that you can't walk over the floor on. He didn't show any of those pictures. And this is the only picture that he showed metadata for. So this is the only one that I see as valid in any way, shape, or form. The other ones, who knows what day they're from.
Dear Lord.
Yeah. Those pots could have been there for a week.
This makes the AI ones look scarily accurate.
Oh, yeah. Some of those AI pictures I saw, I went, holy shit, that's actually not far off from what I remember. Like, it's not bad. I mean, it's bad, but I mean, in terms of accuracy, it's not bad. So, yeah, Nick did this cope stream last night where he tried to control the narrative like he always does. And like he always does, he tries to control the narrative and it just blows up in his face. He ends up seething. He told Lady K to die. He said Lady K in her notes accused Nick of abusing his family members. No, she didn't. She never did that. Josh Moon got a rumor from someone very credible, because I know where the rumor comes from, that Nick has beaten his children, beaten family members before. This is, I talked to an investigator about this weekend, and they had a lot of questions for me. So this is not a rumor without, backup, shall we say. So that was not Lady K's accusation. Josh Moon presented that as a rumor that he'd heard, and he put that out there. Then Josh put out another rumor. This one was confirmed, I believe, that Nick chimped out at the Health and Human Services building, and he got a do not admit order for all Health and Human Services buildings. Like, he went mental and threw a tantrum. They trespassed him from the premises, and they did a do not admit with his picture up there. So the guy's got his shit together. Balls Deep with $2 says Aaron's exotic kosher goy garden needs more items. Hey, at least it's not you with an exotic meat market anymore. Now I've got a kosher goy garden. Silverwolf with $5 says, Aaron, sometimes I say this show should be way higher than it is. Then you pull out the 240 joke, and I go, nope, he's right where he belongs. Fair. That puts us at 235.
Uh-oh, shit, fuck. Somebody throw 20 in quick to save my sanity, for the love of Christ.
We're at 235.
Oh, dear Lord. No.
You know what that means, Johnny?
Unfortunately, yes.
Hold on. Let me go in here. There might be some you might be saved.
We might be saved.
Let me just punch this in real quick, and we'll see if you're saved. Let's go in. I'm at the mercy of loading here. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm at the mercy of loading. Let me just go in and see. Oh, there we go. Gray Duckling with $15, and he just writes, almost had it.
Almost had it.
There you go.
Thank you, Gray Duckling.
There you go. So that puts us at 220 for today. We're right on pace. We're right on track. Thank you guys very much. 220 away from today's goal. So we're done with that. That's just something that I think we had to do for an hour or so, because I knew people were going to ask about it. People were going to want my take on it. So we slogged through. And by the way, there's two sets of notes. We only read one because I didn't want to, like I said.
Kay's notes are very, very good, but they're also, because they're good, they're also very, very long.
Oh, yeah. Kay's notes are great. I didn't pick what I thought was like the best one.
No, you picked the shorter one.
And I picked the one with some of my favorite parts in it.